People who have slept with pornstars, how was it? I dated a retired pornstar that had 2 kids. She was 36. She was one of the nicest, most down-to-earth girls I've ever met. We had very normal and chill sex, but she'd be down to do whatever kinky thing I felt like. Just a great person overall. Why did you break up then? They're now married with 3 kids. I met a girl through a Cupid. 10 minutes later I'd find out she was in porn. She had a friend over, which was odd, who weirdly brought up the fact that she did porn almost right away. I'm pretty sure my date was going by the name Star at the time. Just did a lazy search to see if I could find videos of her, but lux, there are other Stars out there. Her friend showed me a little video she did where she was sucking this guy's tiny dick. The old slapping it on her cheek routine. The guy really struggled to get hard. This wasn't good porn. Eventually the friend left. Porn girl did some coke. I had a few drinks. She went down on me, but was trying to overperform, which felt a little uncomfortable. But hey, head. It was decent. I couldn't get the guy's limp dick out of my head though. Then we had some regular-ish sex where admittedly I wasn't having my best day cause the whole thing was a little unusual. The end. Got STD test. Was negative. The absolute blandness of this story leads me to believe it's entirely accurate. What, this story hit on the blandness scale? Man, he was telling the truth. I dated a cam model for a little bit. Don't know if that counts here, but she gave me the toothiest BJ I've ever had in my life. So instead of oral you got some dental work. Amazing. Let's just say that her cavity was temporarily filled. According to my buddy who banged animes. Expensive. There's a name I haven't heard in years. Actually I think he only paid her $500. She had a public freak out on a set. Is on air fucked. Con worth a watch. I think she didn't get any work after that. My sister slept with a male pornstar in Las Vegas. She had no idea until after the fact and said the sex was incredible. Does she know which one? It happened so long ago. I doubt she remembers. My ex got into porn. Made sense. I think he was addicted to sex. I don't say that loosely. After we were over, I found out he cheated on me regularly even though we were together every single night and had sex often. Not to be mean, but these women weren't anything to brag about either. He had a humongous dick though, but his sex wasn't anything to write home about. Pretty aggressive and not very passionate, but his sex wasn't anything to write home about. Dear mom, I hope this finds you well. It had good girth. Long as a broom. Moved like a dead fish. 5/10. My darling Clarice. This damned war seems interminable. Though the top brass tell us a final push will come before Christmas. And speaking of final pushes, there's a grenadier that I've become chums with. My ex sent nude photos and videos to guys she meets online while we were dating. Does that count? F. Happy cake day. I'm gonna take all these answers with a grain of salt. You need more salt. Season properly. Use kosher. Isn't there like a thing where pornstars duck their fans? Also they do it on sex conventions and so on. Is that what the media means by conventional sex? No. That's sex you have in convents. I haven't slept with any pornstars, but I have met Bonnie Rotten. And I have to say, her profile is a lie. She has the internet convinced she's 57, and she was maybe 53 in 6-inch stilettos. I would bet money she is under 5 feet when she's barefoot. I was blown away by how tiny she was, and how short the men must be in comparison. That's why their dicks look huge cause the female talent is usually small. Yeah, that's why. Dude snored. You slept with a porn star specialized in snoring kinks. I was regular FWBs with a girl who did porn. Mostly she handled the id aspect of things, but she occasionally jumped in front of the camera when a performer no-showed. Sex was good. Head was amazing. The fringe benefits were incredible. Edit, alright. I fixed it. She did usually have good stuff in her fridge. Though. Gotta love a girl who's always got something in the fridge. Wait, so she was the it girl, but sometimes had sex on camera if needed? I could imagine her helping out with the filming or something, but she actually was a performer? I came in 2 minutes. Longer than it'll ever last. Is this the part where we all trip over ourselves in a rush to disparage our sexual stamina? It was okay. She did porn after me though. It was amazing. I made her come 700 times in a span of 60 minutes. All the while doing positions reserved for athletic events and experienced things only a poet could describe. After which point her and all 37 of her other pornstar friends declared I was the best at the sex and the new pope of porn. And then everyone in my middle school class called me the worst liar ever. Finally a post that's real. Does a girl doing just a few videos with Bang Bro count? If that is the case, I found out she did some porn after the sex. Which, after seeing her videos, explains a lot. She was aggressive and loud, which was cool. Shame holding a conversation with her was like nailing mayonnaise to the wall. Nailing mayonnaise to the wall. I'm going to keep this. I salute you. Where's Jimmy Garoppolo when you need him? If we all made this to Kittle, how fast do you think it'll be top of the NFL wire tomorrow? Jimmy doesn't text back, so who knows. My ex-boyfriend did some porn after we broke up. I didn't watch it, but I believe it was mostly solo and aimed at gay audiences. He was very good looking and fit. We only dated about 6 months, but I never had any complaints with him. He was also a really cool guy and easy to get along with. Do you happen to know his porn name? A friend wants to know. Gastrapodius wants to know. I met a girl through friends that was open about being a pornstar. I was initially attracted to her, but I was also super curious. So I asked her a bunch of stuff. We were all sitting around hanging off her every word, because it's like this thing that everybody watches, but you don't normally ever meet someone on the inside. Anyway, I think I must have asked something like, what's the most extreme thing you've done? And she replied about getting analed while the guy stood on her head and flushed it down the toilet. Up until that point, I'd found the conversation kind of a turn on, and we were flirting quite heavily, but that killed it for me instantly. My mate said that it totally turned him off too, but then he kept taking about her for ages after, and I think they hooked up. I looked her up online after meeting her and saw she was an escort too. Would have been an instant turn off for me as well. This is Reddit. Sir. This is a Reddit. 8 hours. Good pillows. Kinda weird that they wanted me to sleep in the same bed, but whatever I guess. Everyone needs a hug and a cuddle buddy. Itchy. F. Not sure if pornstar really describes what he is doing, but you can find him in hundreds of amateur videos and only a handful professional stuff, so I guess he qualifies. I hooked up with him 2 years ago, met him in a gay bar, and after a couple of minutes of me thinking I know this guy, I realized that I have seen porn of him. Well, it was actually more a very distinct tattoo he has. After a short while we went to his hotel room, and for whatever reason I did not pick up on the fact that this is basically 99% of his content. Having sex with dudes in random hotel rooms. But I didn't check for any cameras, because dude is sexy as duck, and I was horny. And it wouldn't have been my first rodeo in front of a camera. It all went very well, until I asked for a condom. He replied with the normal bullshit, like we don't need that, and it feels better that way. No way dude. I know what you do, and that some of your videos are bare, but I don't want to catch something, because you think it feels better. He threw me out, and acted really annoyed. 2 weeks later he posted videos, where he had unprotected sex in a certain hotel room I was very familiar with. Wouldn't have minded being in his videos, because as I said, there is already porn out there where I participated. But dude please, respect when people want to be safe out there. And not only that, tell people if you plan on filming, and upload it to the internet. So yeah. And his dick looks bigger in his videos anyways. Maybe due to him mostly ducking little twinks, and I'm more on the tall, muscular side. Good for you. Really. It just feels so good to know you said no to something which could have harmed you. It's such an important thing I learned way too late. TLDR. Amazing. He was a professional and it showed. So I was browsing Grindr, I'm gay, and got a message from a very handsome guy claiming to have a 9.5 penis. Obviously a model worthy guy with a 9. 5 is a clear red flag that it's a bot or catfish, and Grindr is flooded with them. I did a reverse image search. Tore the guy a new asshole for thinking he could be dumb enough to catfish me with a very well known porn star's pictures from 3 of the top gay porn sites that were easily found online, and told them to F off. He insisted he was real, so I told him to add my Snapchat to prove it. He added me, sent a video, and I was floored. I profusely apologized. He came over, and he did indeed have a true 9. 5. Normally a dig of that size would be painful to take, but he ate me out so well and handled it with such skill that I didn't even feel it slide all the way in. Hands down the easiest dick I've ever taken. It was a great night. I don't think I could ever have sex that good again. I peaked that night. It was good until I woke up in the morning and all my lemons had vanished. Lemon stealing whores. I'm gonna burn your house down. Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. With the lemons. I never dated a porn star, but I did date a former prostitute for 18 months. Same performance. Smaller audience. Anyway, she had one routine and would not deviate. This had more to do with what led her into the profession than the effect the profession had on her. She was tall, thin, flat-chested with an extremely conservative childhood. Rebelled. Married a 2-minute man who couldn't/wouldn't make her orgasm. Rebelled. Got a boob job. Became a fitness model. Exploded into exploration with a vengeance. Literally. In her mind, prostitution was just the fastest means of figuring out exactly, and I mean exactly, what she liked. The experience? Her on top and full control until she orgasmed. Then doggy as hard as her partner could manage until both orgasmed. Rarely any foreplay, but on rare occasion she wanted oral. So long as you were well and truly after it. All this mostly worked for me, so no complaints for a long time. In the end, she was still working through a lot of things and the relationship had to be about her 24/7, or she would get livid. Not even good sex can make up for a permanently one-sided relationship. So things ended. Told her she needed a real counselor, not a pseudo-therapist. Still think about her from time to time. There was a good person buried in there. Really hope she got the help she needed. Ran into her at a bar and grill couple years ago, and it didn't look like it, unfortunately. It was good. Until I wake up. I didn't know Bill Cosby was a porn star. As a gay guy, this is probably a lot more common of an achievement than for straight guys. I hooked up with one a couple of times, and it was pretty fun. But he had a couple of fetishes I couldn't really indulge him in, and he was generally pretty flaky. I also had an awkward, sexless date with one of my favorite porn stars ever. He was living with his aunt and recovering from a big meth binge. So he was not exactly in a place in life where dating was an option. IDK, ask your sister. Also happy cake day. I ducked a top 35/45ish at the time. Ranked porn star on Pornhub. Impromptu anal sex within an hour or two, then she tweeted about it. Was very surreal, and I was focused very much on performing. The bragging to my dormant college friends was super thrilling for 15 minutes of vicarious fame, and feeling like telling the best frat story ever. Now I feel kinda douchy bringing it up. Cat sit for her a month. Had mid-sex again kind. I have a fair amount of impromptu sex stories, but usually shoot myself in the foot. And am likewise almost always lonely and horny. What's her age range? I'm trying to guess. Young. Pretty much the same. Sex-wise. Personality-wise. She was really open to communication ofs, and also, being an exhibitionist, was way more likely to want foreplay to include sexy photos. Good times. Would recommend. I'm a sex walker. I have slept with other sex walkers and civilians. Honestly, there is not a crazy big difference. Porn is acting, and the stuff they do, positions, acts, etc. are pretty uncomfortable and not fun. Having sex for work vs for enjoyment are such different worlds. Like, not even remotely the same thing. When people relax and have fun with each other, it's usually great. When people are at work, they do their job. Not a porn star, but I did get blown by a famous person, though I didn't realize it until much later. I've posted this once before, so I'm pasting. Punky Brewster blew me in a bathroom for some coke in 2003. I was visiting California with some friends and decided to check out some sights in Hollywood. We were at a nice restaurant on having a late lunch and had gotten a little loud. I went to the can to do another line and a twitchy skinny chick was standing outside the doors. I assumed she was waiting for a friend in the women's. I went in and did my line, and I guess she heard me snorting because she came in and asked for some. I told her no. I didn't have much left, and that's when she said she'd suck my dick for what I had left. I was in my early 20s and nearly constantly horny, so I took her up on it, and it was just okay. She didn't swallow. Because of her strong jawline and high cheekbones, I suspected she might be a dude, but her mouth is a mouth. She rambled a bit after she did her line and said something about her ducking show got cancelled and then left. Years later, 2014, I was flipping channels and I saw the chick I face ducked on TV. She had a very distinct voice and jawline. It was very much her. I watched the show long enough to find out the show was a rerun of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I did some googling and discovered the actress was Solly Moon Fry, the chick who played Punky Brewster as a child. She would have been 27 at the time she smoked my pole. I caught a couple more episodes and it looked to be set in Boston, so I decided it probably wasn't her. But I couldn't shake it. Further googling revealed that even though the set and exterior shots were filmed in Boston, the soundstage was on the Paramount lot in Hollywood, only a few blocks from the restaurant on Melrose RV. The show got cancelled in 2003, the same time I was in the area. She was also married at the time, I guess. I'm married now and can't brag about it, but a mouth is a mouth. Classic. Please click subscribe if you enjoyed this video.